few days ago, as of time of filming, I posted this tweet right here, essentially asking if anyone local wanted their PC restored and or cleaned for free. Now the idea was to show you guys kind of the before and after, the transition, the cleaning process. Figured it'd be a cool, like, relaxing video series we could start on the channel, because a lot of tech right now is either out of stock or just way too expensive to entertain, and recycling the same few components that actually are available and are a decent value over and over on the channel just gets old. And I feel like a lot of tech tubers are in that rut right now. So I figured this would be a nice change of pace. If you want to see a very dusty, very dirty, frankly, sorry Courtney, disgusting PC being restored in a video, you've come to the right place. This build right here is actually from a viewer. Her name is Courtney. She also gave me another case, so we're gonna take everything out of this one. We're still gonna clean this case up so that she can resell it or do whatever she wants to do with it later. She also gave me an SSD. She wants me to move her operating system to that. It is currently on a hard disk drive, and we all know how slow those can be. So without further ado, let's get to cleaning. Hopefully, this is a pretty satisfying process to watch play out. To get rid of that annoying activation watermark, hop on over to VIP SCD Key and purchase a Windows 10 Pro OEM key for fractions of the price of retail. Just use a secure payment method like PayPal, receive your key in seconds, and activate your OS here. Bye-bye watermark. And be sure to use our new offer code SKGS for a sweet discount. Now, I don't normally do this, but seeing as though this PC's worse than I thought it was. And I know this isn't like bad, okay? I know that there are a lot of PCs out there that are much worse looking than this. This is the dirtiest I've ever worked with, and I'm gonna wear some gloves just to, yeah, play it safe. And we're gonna start by taking everything out of this case. We'll tear down the graphics card, we'll clean that. We'll try our best to clean the internals of the power supply. I don't usually like to open those. We will definitely clean this stock air cooler. It has seen much better days. And then we'll clean the case. Remember, we're gonna transport all of this stuff in here into her new case, which is actually pink. So let's get right to it.
Don't look back when I call you, but does that mean that you're not there? Go back to when I saw you, a beautiful time in a deadly year. You think I'm stupid, but I get it now. How long can we make this go? Hurry up and spit it out, baby, cause I got to know. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay out.
All right, so we're gonna clean up the graphics card first. We've taken everything out of the system except for the CD drive, which we can't transfer to the new system, so I'll just leave it in there. But this card here, I actually don't know the system specs. I'm kind of learning this as I go. R9 390, 8 gig of course. So it's a fairly old graphics card. It does run very hot. R9 390s were notorious for running hot, even in the AIB forums. So this dust buildup, especially the small little dust bunnies we've got in the heatsink itself, are not helping that problem at all. In fact, it's making it worse. So the back plate itself is pretty dirty as well, although this isn't really gonna affect performance very much. We want to clean this up as well. I'll show you guys a shot of the front. Not too bad, I mean, considering the CPU cooler looks much worse than this. But yeah, we're gonna take this apart first. We're also gonna repaste the GPU, which should also help temps in the long run.
Don't look back when I call you, but does that mean that you don't care? Go back to when I saw you, your beautiful eyes with a deadly stare. You think I'm stupid, but I get it now. How long can we make this go? It won't hurt to let it out, baby, cause I got to know. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay out. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay out. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. I let it consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so boring. Where is the story? I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. It's better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets does that mean that you're not there? Go back to when I saw you. A beautiful time in a deadly year. You think I'm stupid, but I get it now. How long can we make this go? Just hurry up and spit it out, baby, cause I got to know. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. I let it consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so boring. Where is the story? I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. It's better with time. Don't look back when I call you, but does that mean that you don't care? Go back to when I saw you. Your beautiful eyes with a deadly stare. You think
And all right, it is day 2. I've finally finished cleaning up everything. I ended with the power supply. I didn't take it apart. I don't like taking apart power supplies. There's a lot of stuff in there that could either hurt you or just get screwed up, and then the whole system could get, nuked. So I just cleaned the exterior of that, kind of just blew air into it, try to get some of the larger dust bunnies out of there, but it's really not that bad. It was facing down to begin with. Everything else has been pretty much dissected down to bare PCB. I even took off the VRM heatsinks on the motherboard, cleaned those, you guys saw. I stripped the graphics card down to literally just the board. We've got like 6 or 7 different pieces to reassemble for that alone. The CPU cooler is totally deconstructed. So this is a thoroughly cleaned build. We just need to reassemble it. So that's what I'm gonna show you right now.
beautiful time in a deadly year. You think I'm stupid, but I get it now. How long can we make this go? Just hurry up and spit it out, baby, cause I got to know. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. I let it consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so boring. Where is the story? I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better.
Alrighty, and this here is the new case we'll be moving all these clean components into. This is Courtney's pink PC case. She wanted either pink or white. She bought this herself. She asked me to move everything from the old case, which is obviously fairly old. So this is a much more modern, I think, DIY PC case. I've never built in a pink case before. This will be the first. Look, the whole point of PC building yourself, DIYing, is that you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can customize things however you want. At the end of the day, if you don't like a pink PC, do whatever you want with your build. I'm sure she's perfectly happy with the way this thing looks. DIY PC really knows how to torque on these thumb screws. Well, the whole point of a thumb screw was that you didn't need a tool. Anyway, gonna get this left panel off here. We've already taken off the right panel. Now, we were also given an Intel SSD. Courtney purchased that as well and asked me to transfer the operating system to that. And I asked her if it was okay if I just reinstall the operating system from scratch. She said, sure, no problem. She only has like Skyrim and maybe like one other thing on the only other drive in the system, which is this 1 terabyte WD Black, which was actually pretty clean. I think this was added much later than the remaining components in the system. But nonetheless, we're gonna set up the M.2 NVMe in the system. We're gonna install the operating system. We're gonna activate it for her using an OEM Pro key from our sponsor STD Key. And then we are going to run a few tests to make sure that the system is running fine and not running too hot. Maybe, there was an issue with the reassembly. We're gonna check on those things before we give her system back to her.
lies with a deadly stare. You think I'm stupid, but I get it now. How long can we make this go? It won't hurt to let it out, baby, 'cause I got to know.
So, a bit of a problem. If you haven't noticed, this case has 4 included fans, which is nice for a cheap DIY PC case. Problem is, they're all powered by Molex, and Molex only. Like, what the heck? So, I was just gonna plan on plugging in, connecting Molex power and just letting them run as is, but the power supply that she has, which is CX650M from Corsair, it's a semi-modular power supply, does not have the Molex modular power cable connected. It wasn't included in the previous build, and that's because the previous owner realized that Molex wasn't needed. None of those drives or peripherals he was using had or needed Molex connectors, so he didn't include it, and I'm not sure if Courtney was given that cable, probably not. So I'm gonna play it safe, and I'm just gonna go ahead and upgrade her to a V750 Gold. We actually use this power supply from Cooler Master many times, but it's an 80 plus gold unit. It's a higher wattage than the one she's currently using, a bit newer, a bit fresher, all black cables and everything. But we're just gonna do that. That way I know for a fact the system will run when she gets it. I don't want her to turn on the PC and not have any fans running and then complain about overheating later on. I don't, that's obviously not what anyone wants to deal with, especially when they give their PC to a stranger and have them fix it for them. So fresh power supply going in here, and we'll tidy up cables, power it on.
I let it consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so...
Well, we've got everything set up, it works fine, but it runs super hot. And you were probably anticipating this. Anyone familiar with Intel stock coolers knows that the stock cooler is no good, especially for a 4790K, even running at stock, which is what this system is using, a 4790K. I'm gonna give her a CPU cooler upgrade. How about a Be Quiet Dark Rock 4? Now this is what I'm talking about. These temperatures are night and day different. That stock cooler was just choking that 4790K. With the Dark Rock 4, our temperatures are actually significantly lower than our GPU temperatures, which wasn't the case before. We were thermal throttling before, we were at literally 100 degrees Celsius, and now we are chilling in the mid 60s, which isn't bad. An IDA64 is not going to heavily stress a CPU. I mean, it's still a stress test, but it's nothing like, say, Prime 95. At the end of the day, I wanted this to be stable enough for her, for gaming, for whatever she's gonna be doing, content creating and the like, and this system checks out in my book. Well, here she is, finally, after 2 days, and it was a pretty long 2 days. I think the first time here cleaning up the system fully down to bare PCB took a bit longer than I expected, but this has really been a transformation. I mean, considering what it looked like to begin with, especially in that older case, just being able to clean everything, seeing the before and after is just so satisfying. Cleaning everything was super satisfying. It's like therapy for me, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to clean viewer PCs. That, and it also gives me a different, sort of content, sort of video for you guys all to see, so that we're not just doing the same things over and over. If you guys like this style video, by the way, let me know in the comments below. I do plan to do more of these. I have many emails already from people who want their systems clean, who live in the Orlando, Florida area. So if you want your system clean and you are willing to drive to Orlando or around Orlando, Florida, message my wife. Her email is in the description, and she's kind of filtering through those, asking for pictures. Be sure to submit photos of your build. Make sure it's dirty. I mean, that's kind of the point. If the cable management's pretty bad, that's also something I can fix up. But shouldn't take me longer than a few days to fix your system up. I usually like to, plan out a week. But in this case here, I finished it in about 3 days. She'll have it before the end of the week. So this was super fun. Thanks again, Courtney, for letting me build this system or rebuild the system for you and clean it up. Now, I have not installed the tempered glass panel yet, and the reason why is because the plastic is still on there, and I want the plastic to stay on there. I want Courtney to be able to do the honors and pull the plastic off. It's her build. That should be something that she gets to do. So if you guys like this video, if you enjoyed the process, the transition, be sure to let me know in the comments below, and by giving this video a thumbs up, I appreciate that. Consider subscribing if you have not already, and I will catch you in the next one. My name is Greg. Thanks for learning with me.